Hello, my dear friend, let me whisper something to you, right in this very moment as you're listening. There are nights so quiet, when you look up at the sky, you can feel as if an unseen gaze is watching over you, shining deep into the places you've tried to hide. I believe you are walking through that very journey now, a path where your soul begins to tremble, standing on the edge of a change you cannot avoid. Imagine this, a door slowly opening, and from the other side, a light spills through, mysterious yet full of promise. Your heart can hear a distant calling, almost like the universe itself whispering, "It's time." And in this silence, allow yourself to feel it, because sometimes it's the stillness that marks the beginning of life's greatest turning points. And from this very moment, we step together into the first part of the story where the universe begins to speak and the door of destiny begins to open. Aries, listen closely. In the quiet rhythm of life, it often feels as if every day is the same, like waves rising and falling, leaving no trace on the shore of your soul. And yet, suddenly, there comes a day, a single moment that breaks through the night like a crack in the dark. A beam of light pours in and your heart urges you to stop, to feel. That day, guided by the voice of the universe, is the last Thursday of September. Not an ordinary day, not one that can slip past unnoticed. It carries within it a door, a trembling of destiny, a reminder that life has not been sleeping at all, but preparing to erupt into change. In those hours of silence, we often ask why we've traveled so far and still haven't found the path meant for us. Maybe you've sat in the dark, listening to the whispers of your own heart, wondering if something more is still waiting. On that Thursday, the universe will answer. It will place you in a moment that makes your heart tremble, like an invisible hand touching your shoulder, gently reminding you, the time has come. You cannot stand still any longer. I want to share something personal. Every life carries long stretches of emptiness, times when we believe nothing will ever change. But destiny always finds a way to light a lamp in the deepest dark. And I believe each of us has lived at least one of those days, a day that shifts everything in a single heartbeat, a day when you are no longer the person you were yesterday. Have you ever felt the universe whisper, "It's time, prepare yourself"? That feeling like a strange wind moving through your soul, raising goosebumps across your skin, filling you with fear and desire all at once. In that pause, you realize you're standing at the threshold of something so vast that your heart slows down just to hear each beat more clearly. The last Thursday of September brings exactly this. A door opens, not with a loud noise, but with an energy you cannot deny. It is like lifting your eyes to the night sky and seeing a star streak across the darkness, leaving a trail of fire, writing a silent promise just for you. And in that moment, your intuition knows your life is about to turn in a new direction. Pause for a breath and let this question echo inside you. If tomorrow you woke up and knew your life was about to change completely, how would you respond? Would you open your heart to it, or would you shrink back out of fear? The answers you choose don't just shape your decisions. They sketch the map of your spirit, guiding how you walk into what's next. As someone who has spent a lifetime watching the turning of fate, I see a greater lesson here. Life never sends signals for nothing. When a day is marked with this kind of power, it is not only a promise of joy, it is also a test of whether you have the faith and the courage to step into the light. This trembling is not here to break you. It is here to awaken the strongest part of you. Picture it, Aries, a doorway of light appears. Behind it lies what you've been waiting for: love, opportunity, the answer to your weary nights. That door will not remain open forever. The universe calls you in a steady, low voice. The time has come. And you, with your brave heart, will you step forward? Share in the comments. Have you ever lived a day that changed your entire life? Write it down, not just to remember, but to affirm that you see the sacred milestones along your path. Because when we recognize their value, we also become more ready for the next door that opens. Deep down, I believe that day will bring you a vibration unlike anything you've felt before. Not like a fleeting breeze, but like a gentle storm, strong enough to sweep away the dust covering your heart. Like a sacred flame rising within you, burning away fear and warming your faith. And as you let yourself step fully into this experience, you'll realize this is only the beginning. Because on that very day, a choice of the soul will appear, opening the next chapter of the story. There are moments in life when someone looks straight into your eyes, and in that gaze you can feel a decision has just been made. Not a passing word, not a fleeting gesture, but a choice born from the deepest place in the heart. A choice like that is never easy. It's carved out of fear, out of long silences, out of nights when they walked away but never stopped thinking of you. It's not the shallow choice of love that comes and goes. It feels more like a soul covenant, a silent decision planted long ago, and now it can no longer be held back. When someone chooses you, what they are really doing is also choosing themselves, choosing not to run from the truth inside their heart, choosing to lay down the walls of pride, choosing to step out from the shadow of fear and live honestly with their feelings. And that is the beginning of healing, because real love is always tied to courage. I've spent many years watching love in its many forms, and the greatest lesson I've learned is this: to love is not simply to find someone who eases your loneliness. It is the courage to face yourself, to confront the parts you once tried to hide. When someone chooses you, they're not handing you an easy gift. They bring with them a whole story, scars, dreams, and a promise that they will no longer run away. And you, the one being chosen, also stand before a test. Will you trust enough to open your heart again, or will you let old wounds keep you trapped in doubt? Have you ever realized, when someone truly chooses you, they're also choosing themselves? That image always moves me deeply, because love is not one hand reaching for another. It's two people first holding their own hands, finding wholeness within themselves, and then walking toward each other from that place of strength. A bond like that is not fragile. It doesn't vanish overnight. It has the power to awaken the deepest parts of the human soul. And so I ask you now, if tomorrow the one you thought was lost returned, and in their eyes you saw the look of a true decision, what would you do? Would you push them away, afraid of history repeating itself? Or would you listen to your heartbeat and open just a small door for the light to enter? No one can answer this for you. Every heart must walk its own journey. But I know this: choices born from truth always carry the energy of healing, even if at first they make us tremble. If you've ever lived that moment, share it in the comments, because your story could be the light someone else needs to keep going. We don't live just to keep our lessons to ourselves. When you share, you plant a seed of compassion in the world, and you never know, someone out there may need your words to find the courage to move forward. Real love demands courage, not avoidance. It doesn't come to fill an empty space. It comes to shine into the shadows, to force us to look at ourselves, to remind us that life still holds things worth believing in. When two souls are brave enough to choose each other, they don't just create a relationship. They awaken a strength that helps them both step out of the darkness together. And from that choice, what once felt impossible begins to return. There are things we once believed were closed forever, like an old door locked tight, like a song that ended on its final, heavy note. And yet, life has its own way of turning the wheel, reminding us that nothing is ever truly lost. Feelings we thought were buried, dreams we believed covered by the dust of time, can suddenly rise again with a force that overwhelms us. And in that very moment, what we thought was impossible becomes undeniable right before our eyes. I've seen people who had lost all faith in love, hearts locked shut after too many wounds. They moved through life quietly, treating the past like a chapter that should never be opened again. But then, fate placed them in front of a meeting, a word, a look, and suddenly all those silent memories rushed back, like a strong wind blowing on the embers of a hidden fire. And the miracle is that fire had never truly gone out. It had only been waiting for the right moment to blaze again, brighter, stronger, more alive. In life, we often think that when a door closes, it's the end. But many times, destiny is simply waiting for us to grow deep enough, wise enough to return and unlock it with a new key. It's not repetition, it's rebirth on a higher level, like spring returning after a long winter. The flowers that bloom are never the same as the ones before. They blossom with new life, more radiant for having endured the cold. Now imagine this. If tomorrow, the person you thought was gone suddenly stood at your door, their eyes reflecting feelings that never really disappeared, what would you do? Would you let your trembling heart open, or would fear stop you from stepping forward? This question is not just a theory. It's a mirror, showing you your own courage. Fear can protect us, yes, but that same fear can also keep us from touching the happiness we've prayed for all along. I believe every rebirth of love carries with it a profound human lesson. Never assume that something is dead forever. Love doesn't vanish. It waits in silence until you are ready. And when it returns, it's not only a chance to love again, it's a chance to forgive, to heal, to live more fully than before. Life is not long, and the gifts of destiny often arrive in the moments we least expect. Write this down in the comments. Will you choose your heart, or will you choose your fear? Because your answer is not only for yourself. It could also become the light someone else needs, someone who is listening right now, walking their own path. When we share, we remind each other that everyone deserves a chance to love, to be loved, and to live true to the longing in their soul. And so, when truth returns, the most important question of all is this: do you have the courage to love and to let yourself be loved? There are moments in life when your heart trembles so much, you feel like turning back, running away. But in that very moment, you also realize, if you don't take the step forward, you may lose something sacred, something God and the universe have placed directly on your path. Love is never easy. It's not a light gift given just to fill the emptiness. It is a journey that demands courage, faith, and the willingness to place your soul in the hands of another. This kind of love is never halfway. It is like a fire. It warms you, but it also tests you. It forces you to face the shadows inside yourself until you rise out of them brighter, stronger. I believe courage does not mean the absence of fear. Courage is when your heart is racing, your hands are shaking, the memories of old wounds come rushing back, and still you walk forward. Because you know life does not promise safety. It only offers you the chance to open your heart. And if you take that chance, you may find what you've been longing for all your life. When we love, there is no guarantee we won't feel pain. But there is one certainty. When we open our hearts, we give ourselves the chance for happiness to arrive. God never placed love in your heart for you to bury it. He gave you the gift of feeling, the gift of loving, to remind you that you were not born to live in fear, but to live in love. And I believe every time we open our hearts, we are not only connecting with another human being, we are touching the very grace of God. True love does not come from possession. It comes from the courage to believe that our soul is worthy of giving and receiving. Remember this: to love again means to forgive those who hurt you, to forgive yourself for closing the door before, to forgive the moments when you thought you were unworthy. Forgiveness does not make you weak, it makes you free. It is like taking off heavy armor so you can walk into life lighter, softer. And when you forgive, you open a new space inside your soul, a place where love can take root, grow, and bring healing. We cannot avoid pain, but we can choose to open our hearts so we don't miss happiness. I've seen many people, after heartbreak, lock themselves away. They believe it's safer that way. But really, they only extend the pain by refusing the chance to heal. The heart was not created to be locked in silence. It was created to beat, to feel, to give, and to receive. That is the way God gives us life. Imagine this: you're standing at the threshold of a new love. Inside you, the voice of the past whispers, "Don't trust again, don't love again, it will only hurt." But at the same time, you hear another voice, gentler, like the wind, like a prayer. "Believe, my child, open your heart, for I have placed this love on your path." Which voice will you follow? The voice of fear or the call of God? Take a moment now, close your eyes, ask yourself honestly, will you give yourself one more chance to love fully? Share your thoughts, because when you do, you're not only speaking to yourself, you're inspiring someone else who is listening right now. Sometimes a single answer from you can be the light that helps another soul find their faith in love again. Love demands courage, and that courage is nourished by the faith that we are never alone. No matter how many times you've fallen, no matter how many tears you've shed, there has always been an unseen hand lifting you back up. That hand is the hand of God, the hand of the universe, the hand of divine love itself, waiting for you to step out of fear and receive what has always belonged to you. I know you are tired. I know you've collapsed before, but I also know deep in your heart there is still a flame that has never gone out. That flame is the proof that you still long to love and to be loved. Don't let fear extinguish it. Let love ignite you. Let it heal you. Let it carry you to the place where you truly belong. And the miracle is this: when love begins to flow again, the doors to abundance and opportunity will begin to open as well. In life, it isn't only love that creates turning points. Sometimes it's the flow of work, of money, of opportunity that reveals the hand of divine justice. There are seasons when it feels as if everything is blocked. As if you're walking a road of stones, giving your all, and yet no flowers bloom. You've worked hard, you've been patient, and still the money slips away. The opportunity appears for a moment, then disappears like smoke. But hear this, not a single drop of your sweat is ever forgotten by the universe. Every silent effort, every day you stood tall when no one was watching, all of it is written into the current of sacred justice. And now, as the last Thursday of September arrives, a door begins to open. I've seen it before. People who spent years laboring quietly, faithfully. Then one day, out of nowhere, they receive a chance they never expected. Like a seed hidden beneath the soil, unseen for so long, until one morning it breaks through as a green shoot, announcing spring has returned. Life works in the same way. You may not see the results immediately, but what you've planted with patience and faith will always bloom in its appointed season. The universe knows what you've endured. It knows what you've sacrificed. And because of that, opportunities are flowing toward you now as a rightful gift. You may have seen money come and go, but this time it comes as a reward for all your waiting, not as an unstable stream that leaves you restless, but as a steady source tied to your true worth. A contract, a career shift, a financial surprise, as if life itself were saying, "This is yours. This is the portion I held back until you were ready to receive it." What moves me most is how the universe chooses its timing. It doesn't arrive when you're restless. It doesn't arrive when you're unprepared. It arrives when your heart is quiet enough not to waste it. This is the lesson. Prosperity does not only come from doing more. It comes from balance, from faith, and from patience while you wait for the season to bloom. The more you force it, the more it slips away. But when you rest, when you trust that divine justice is real, what belongs to you will find you. Not a minute late, not a second too soon. So ask yourself, are you ready to open your hands and receive? Or are you still letting fear hold you back? Because money, work, opportunity, they are more than numbers in an account. They are proof that you endured, that you stayed faithful, that you did not quit. They are the reflection of your inner strength, of the quiet trust you carried when no one else saw. If you are waiting for a financial shift, write it down. I am ready to receive divine justice. When you declare that, you're not only speaking to yourself, you are sending a signal out into the universe, saying you are prepared, saying your faith is strong enough to hold the blessing. And remember, nothing comes by accident. Every reward is the delicate balance between the work you've given and the justice God and the universe have set aside for you. I believe that in this very month, many of you will see unexpected breakthroughs. Perhaps a debt is finally repaid. Perhaps a new job appears. Perhaps money arrives at the exact moment you need it most. And along with it comes a lightness in your spirit, the deep knowing that you have never been forgotten. Because divine justice has always been at work, quiet, steady, unstoppable, protecting those who hold on to faith. As I share this, I want you to sit in silence for a moment. Remember the days when you thought you couldn't go on, yet you did. Remember the sacrifices no one noticed, but you still gave. Those moments are the foundation of the blessing now coming your way. Receive it not just with your hands, but with gratitude in your heart. For when you give thanks, prosperity multiplies. And when the door opens, the fire within you will rise stronger than ever before. There are flames in life we thought had burned out, but in truth, they were only sleeping. That flame is the strength inside your heart. The same strength that carried you through every fall, every long night of tears. It burns quietly beneath the ashes of fear, of doubt, waiting for the moment you dare to call your own name and step into the light. And now, this is that moment. I believe every human being carries a treasure within, not a treasure of gold or silver, but of light, of resilience, of faith that has never been extinguished. That treasure is often hidden, covered by the dust of life, by the judgments of others, by the wounds that made you think you had no worth. But the truth is this: it only takes one moment of courage, one decision to choose yourself, and that treasure bursts forth so bright it blinds the darkness around you. When an Aries truly ignites, no one can put out that flame. That light spreads, it draws love, it draws respect, it draws opportunities you once thought would never come. When you return to your true nature, when you stop bending to please others, when you refuse to shrink just to be accepted, the universe itself shifts to choose you, because you have chosen yourself. Picture this: you walk forward with faith, your head held high, no longer bowed by the past. People see you differently. They feel the power in your energy, so undeniable it cannot be ignored. And from there, love finds you, doors open, respect comes naturally without you begging for it. That is the gift of awakening. Life teaches us a hard truth. If you do not choose yourself, no one else can do it for you. We spend years trying to be the version others expect, while our soul longs only to be itself. But when you find the courage to say, I am enough, I am worthy, I will burn bright, everything changes. Because when you choose yourself, the universe chooses you too. Write it in the comments, I am Aries. I choose myself. I let my flame burn bright. Don't write it as just words. Write it as a vow, as a small ritual for your own soul. Because once you speak it, you've sent a signal to the universe. You are ready to live true to your light. With every heartbeat, remember, the fire within you is not only to light your path, it is also to shine for those around you, for those still wandering in the dark. When you burn bright, you become living proof that no darkness can ever swallow the light. And that is how you bring healing to this world, by daring to live in your truth. And from this return to yourself, you now face the most important decision of all. Will you open your hands to receive the gift of destiny? There are moments in life when every sign seems to gather, pointing in a single direction. You feel love moving toward you. You feel opportunity calling your name. And it's as if the universe itself whispers, the waiting is over. But right in that moment, a greater question rises. Will you open your hands to receive? Because love may choose you, opportunity may choose you, but if you don't open your heart, it all remains outside the door of your soul. I believe the greatest barrier doesn't come from the world around us, not from the people who hurt us. It comes from the fear that lives deep within. The fear that if we open again, we'll be broken again. The fear that happiness, if it comes, will slip away too fast. And if you let that fear rule your heart, you will stand before the gift but never touch it. If you keep your heart closed, the gift will still be there, but you will never receive it. Imagine this: God and the universe place in your hands a blessing after years of patience, sacrifice, and faith. And when it finally arrives, you let doubt pull you back. That is no different than refusing the divine justice that was written for you all along. I have seen strong souls walk through storms of pain, yet when joy appeared, they trembled more than ever. The truth is, it takes as much courage to receive a blessing as it does to endure hardship. Pain, as cruel as it is, can feel easier to believe than joy, but joy demands something greater. It demands that you believe you are worthy, that you open your heart to receive, that you allow the light to pour in. And that is the real test of every soul. Ask yourself now, how many times have you doubted joy? How many times have you turned away from good things out of fear of loss? How many times have you told yourself, I'm not ready, when the only thing required was to reach out your hand? This moment when love, opportunity, and destiny gather all at once calls for one choice only. Will you open your heart, or will you let fear take its place? In the silence, listen to the whisper of your own heart. It longs to live. It longs to love. It longs to heal and to shine. And when you open your heart, not only love steps in, but every door in your life begins to open. This is how the universe works. One small act, one choice to receive, can set waves of change in motion across your entire life. Write it in the comments. I am ready to open. I am ready to receive. When you write it, you turn it into a declaration, a confirmation not only to yourself, but to the universe that you are ready. And once you are ready, the gifts will come to you faster, clearer, more complete. My dear Aries, thank you for listening with your whole heart. I wish you a September that explodes with love and abundance. May the light of the universe surround you, bringing peace, faith, and the most beautiful of new beginnings.